back up and running again. We have somebody who says they worked in Castle Point, police officer. A lot of good people back in the area, he says. I'm going to read with Curtis Wilson. Curtis has just, for me, a very tragic and sad story that we want a happy ending. I want some changes made. I do see this as a problem. I do not think that any person with your resume as an adult should be carrying this tag around. And I'm sure, I'm already positive that it's happened to several people in my life that I didn't even know that this had happened in their lives. They reached out to me yesterday after I talked about this story on air. But this is from your parole officer. This is dated May 2nd, 2024. I want to read this on air just so people get an understanding of what's going on. It says, my name is Dennis Boyd Sr. I am Curtis Wilson's former probation parole officer. I supervised Wilson on my sex offender caseload from 2004 until 2007. During this time, under my supervision, he never incurred any violations and passed all polygraph and drug tests. He was a model parolee. As a result of always being compliant, Mr. Wilson was allowed to travel all over the country to play professional softball. After Mr. Wilson completed his supervision, he and I kept in touch with one another. I followed his career, where he went on to win 54 World Series and was inducted into 3 Softball Hall of Fames and got his own signature bat. He also serves as a motivational speaker to youths as he spoke to my Little League baseball team. His talk with them was well received by the players and coaches in attendance. I was a probation parole officer for the state of Missouri for over 24 years, and I also worked as a counselor for 7 years at residential juvenile sex offender facilities. I managed and supervised hundreds of sex offenders during my career. It is my professional opinion that Mr. Wilson is not a threat to our community nor our children. He made one mistake 38 years ago. Hang on. Dan, you're supposed to help.
Yes. I don't have it and I can't read it. My eyes are bad enough anyway, so I wouldn't be able to read it anyway. So, is this a Missouri parole officer?
You read that last
Missouri.
sentence.
My sister was she was a St. Louis City probation and parole officer. And
Was she?
Yeah. She
Read that
for
last
20
one, because I can't get through it. It's just,
Okay, he says he made one mistake in 38 years ago and is still paying for it by having to register as a sex offender. The punishment does not fit the crime. Mr. Wilson is not a sexual predator. His record speaks for itself. He has not had an arrest or sex crime or anything like that in 38 years. Please contact me if you have any things to say or want to know Wilson's character.
I get caught up in it because I just think it is so. Life's hard enough.
It's wrong. Well, it's
Life
wrong.
is hard enough.
It's wrong. And here's what I think this latest incident with St. Anne Police, and I love police. I mean, I've had cops in my family, and I was a security guard for Northwest Plaza back in the day when I started college, and we were dispatched out of St. Anne Police Department. I knew all the cops in St. Anne. Now I don't, but I think that what they did is basically harassment. The St. Charles thing, when they brought you back and had you, I think that's harassment because you did nothing. I mean,
Well, the ultimate is there's no crime.
no, there's no crime at all.
You're on probation for something that happened when he was a 16, 17-year-old child.
Yeah.
This is insanity. And, look.
And this should be expunged from your record. How long has this been?
Almost 40 years.
Yeah, it's insane.
This is what I mean about the government. These are things that have to be addressed in order to run a society where you're proud of your government. This is somebody I've known since we were kids. This is not. He shouldn't have to deal with this.
No.
Imagine walking around, Dan. You got to go to your family. You're going to go to they're going to have a wedding at a park, and you got to hey, wait a minute. I got to let you know I'm a registered sex offender because I was a junior and did something I shouldn't have done with a freshman in 1986. But I'm a registered sex offender, and I'm 55, 56 years old. This is insanity. And these are the things that I hope the show ultimately has, we play our role in trying to fix situations like this because, when it happens to people that you know.
I got a lot of work upon my plate, and I'ma get it all till the clock stops ticking. Forget the pain of yesterday, and she was lying in how you are. Wake up and go get it, live life with no limits. Every time they put me in a box, I bust it down. Too much time up on the clock, so I'ma bust it down. famous. I'm with my brothers like Malcolm and Newton, and we split the racks in the middle. Big bro, you been ballin', so we was just tallest, you know it ain't no ceilings. These girls in the library, they looking for love, you know it ain't no feelings. Searching for warmth in my heart, but lately it feel like the middle of winter. Every time I get back up, they wanna let me down. My granny asked me why I put that smoke up in the clouds. They always saying, woke, but they be sleeping, know what's round. Just maintain focus, keep my knees upon the ground. I put my soul and my heart in this. The clouds, they left us in darkness, yeah. But I knew what it was when I started it, yeah. So now they ain't no turning back. You know I ain't got time to lack. I gotta get to the racks. And I cannot deny.
All right, everybody, here we go. Third and final hour. I caused a lot of trouble last hour. Getting all my friends mad at me. Curtis Wilson joins me to the left. If you don't remember, and D. Miller, how do you guys know each other? Are you friendly from back in the day, or is this relatively new?
We know of each other, and his brother-in-law played ball against me and with me.
Okay.
And that's how we connected. But I didn't know who he was until he started hearing my name. He saw me play before, but it got more interesting as time went on.
Are we talking about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years?
Good. 5, 6.
Oh, so it hadn't been that terribly long. Okay,
No.
let me give people an update, because I know who you are. Long-time listeners know who you are, but I want to give people just a little bit of an update. So Curtis and I, we went to school at Rittner High School. We went to Haight Middle School. We grew up playing ball together.
Right.
You were a terrific athlete. I think I was a pretty good athlete back in those
really,
days.
You talking to me all modest and crap. No, man.
I went to Hazelwood Central.
And he was a great athlete, too. he was a great athlete.
That's Tony's ass.
That's right. That's right.
You're right. You're right.
So we got to know each other really, really well. I moved away from Rittner High School and went to Pattonville. You moved and went to Berkeley.
Right.
Kind of lost touch with each other.
Yeah.
I didn't see you again until we were playing in a football league somewhere. And all I remember, I didn't know it was you. By the way, I just got to kind of talk to you privately here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was you. You were so amazing. You were so fantastic. You were so good. Our team was better than yours. You were a one-man show playing quarterback for the other team. And about 2/3 of the way through the game, one of my friends goes, "That's Curtis Wilson playing quarterback out there." I go, "No way!" I was 30 years old. I hadn't seen you since we were like 16 or 17 years old.
Yeah.
And when we walking through the line, I'll never forget it. So I was walking. You remember this? I'm
Vaguely.
I'm walking through the line, and I lay a shoulder into him, and he squares up like, I go, "It's Robb Carter," and you calm down. We talked for just a little bit, and then I didn't see you again until you reached out about this whole situation. That I have talked to so many people about it because I just empathize with what's going on with you. I'm a very proud person. You're a very proud person. And when you get tagged as a sexual predator for something you did when you were in high school, a consensual, consensual sex with somebody that was high school age. You were, junior, senior age. She was freshman age.
Right.
But you carried this for your entire life,
Yes, sir.
and it's really affected you because you want to coach, you want to be able to go to parks, you don't want your name's smeared and your reputation smeared as though you're some horrible person, and you can't get anything done, as I understand it. How long have you've been trying for a long time to kind of clear your name and get this off your record so you can move on?
Yes, sir.
And you're how old now?
I'm 56.
You're 56 years old and still dealing with it. And D, I think you come from the music and maybe television or
I come from that music world. Like you guys, I was a pretty good athlete as well, but injury ended it, and
you got into music.
I got into music, and I've had a really blessed career. I've been blessed to meet a lot of people along the way.
You got to tell the Jackie Jonah Kersey story here in just a minute, but I don't want to bounce around too terribly much. I want to hear can you give me an update as to what's going on with you, Curtis? Are things getting any better? Is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Are you making headway? What's going on?
Well, I'm making a lot of headway right now.
You are?
Yeah, I got some associates that's really grinding, especially a young lady in Florida named Linda Madero. She is, oh my God, she should have been an investigator / superwoman / I don't know. She's at the pinnacle.
Dug in and find out what was going on with you.
Yeah, she's like a Miss Perry Mason beyond Johnny Carpenter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because I guess we should explain her too, because she's probably looking into. Tell the story about how you got caught up in this. They said you were filming some young girl or something. Yeah.
So I appreciate you having me back. First of all, Rob.
Anytime you want.
So basically, just to rewind the tape just a little bit, I came home to visit my mom. I was taking care of my mom when I came back because I was gone living in Florida for the last 20 years. So the only reason why I came back to St. Louis was because my mom got sick. So my mom passed away December 9th at 12:58 p.m. My best friend of all times, and so I was dating a girl that you know, Christy Dillman.
Mm-hmm.
So her daughter overdosed on a drug called fentanyl.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about it because I never did drugs, never drank in my life. But I'm a virgin of that. But I heard about it, and so I'm hanging out with Christy, trying to console her as her boyfriend, and I'm going to the park, just walking our dogs. I've been going to different parks for the last 35 years playing ball. So Lieutenant Boas, he walked up to me, Chris, and he said, hey, well, you're not supposed to be at the park unless you're playing ball, unless you umpire. It's already in my files that's what I do. I said, I apologize, but I'm out here trying to, console my lady, and I get it. So he just said, man, there's a stalking charge on your license plate from St. Anne Police Department. I said, is it stalking? What do you mean? He said, well, St. Anne put a stalking out. I don't know why. He said, you don't have a warrant. You're not even wanted for questioning. It's got a stalking. So he said, let me call St. Anne Police Department real quick and see what's going on. He called the police department. They didn't answer the phone for some reason. Said, man, if I was you, I'd go straight to the police station and take care of it. I said, I'm leaving right now. So I went there, saw, make a long story short, they locked me up because they said that I was taking pictures of a little girl. Like I said, I didn't know she was black, white, Chinese. My mind wasn't even zoned in like that. So I guess they took the narrative, what happened to me back in 1986 as a kid. They thought I was, still that guy, but I wasn't really that guy then.
Right. Never were.
So
I know that.
Yeah.
So I don't need to wonder.
Yeah. So so they like they say you took pictures of a little girl. Can we see your phones? I said, well, you know what's so funny? I got 3 cell phones with me. You can search all my phones. They went through all my phones, went through the iClouds, went through the private things. They didn't see no little girl on my phone, but they saw all these accomplishments I've done. And I dated like a lot of different women, because I love women. So it's like, understand? I'm gonna emphasize that I love women.
Right.
I don't love kids.
Right.
I mean, not like that. So they didn't see no predatory stuff on my phone. So they had no reason to hold me anymore. But they kept me for 72 hours. And I'm gonna find out I did not did what they say they thought I did. Channel 2 gave me some justice. They gave me an interview. Shout out to Channel 2 Jeff Berntal. And so basically, they trying to say, well, he was still used to register. I told them I registered February 2nd. They didn't want to hear that. So they put it out there that I failed to register. But as you see, I was never charged with that. They took the prosecuting attorney, they took that off the table. So the only thing they got me was being at the school, at my elementary school on the weekend when nobody's there, taking pictures for my documentary. That's the only thing they had me for, because the law says if you're a sex offender, you're not supposed to be at a school if there's kids under 18. There was nobody there, so I should never got charged with that either.
Right. Was it a weekend, I think?
It was a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I went to my old house where I used to live at. So I started taking pictures of my old house where I used to live at as a kid. Just a bad coincidence that the little girl they thought I was taking pictures of, she's still right next door. And she went in and told her mom that this guy was following me. This is the same car that was following me for 5 days. I said, 5 days? So there's just a lot of stuff that you guys didn't understand, didn't know, because Linda Madero, she deep dived.
This is the investigator person that you have working on your case. Okay.
Yeah, she deep dived into this, man, broke it down like a Rubik's Cube and saw all these things that was wrong. There was 2 different police reports from St. Anne. They didn't know that we had the first police report because we got it. So I thought I lost their police report, so I went up to St. Anne Police Department. Hey, I need a police report about what happened to me last year. They gave me a whole different police report. So we got 2 different police reports right now.
One internal and one for you?
No, both of them for me, but they're 2 different ones. It doesn't make sense. So if you look at
you ultimately think they were trying to frame you to a degree because the people involved, I guess, I know both the people involved.
Yeah,
we talked about it before. We know these people from back in the day when we were going to school there.
Yeah, I went with the school with Jim the chief's brother.
Yep.
So they know I didn't do this, but for some reason they just want to be like, man, we really got somebody. They had opportunity to tell the public that no, Mr. Wilson did not do this. There was no
There's no pictures on your phone.
There's nothing.
Right. The original charge is not there, so they see your phones. There's no pictures on them, so it should be over.
They had a chance to correct it, but they didn't. They just thought they was gonna sweep this under the rug and just ruin my life and go find out who else life they can ruin as well. But I'm a fighter. They don't know me like that. And like I said, we know the same people. I grew up in St. Anne. I was raised as a ball player as a kid. So it wasn't like, no old man walking through the neighborhood, just, that's not me, that's not in my character. So I'm not even sweating that part. But let's get to the part that what's going on right now.
Yeah.
A lot of backtracking is starting to happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
You've been at this for a while. How long have you been fighting this thing?
Since I got out of jail for February of 2024.
And that's when they put you in jail for 72 hours?
Yeah, they put me in jail for 72 hours, then they sent me to Clayton. Then I was in jail for 11 days there.
For nothing.
For nothing. So they had
and for anybody that's ever spent a night in jail for something,
so what?
It's anybody that's ever spent a night in jail for something, right? Like for most people, they get, maybe they didn't pay a speeding ticket, they get busted, they get thrown in jail, or they get in a fight, and they end up in jail. It is horrible to be in jail for one night. It happened to me recently in New York. I'm going to take a break. We'll come back with the story. But it happened to me in New York City, and that was the longest 24 hours of my life. It was so miserable being in jail. I can't even imagine 11 days. Holy cow! All right, got to take a break. That is Curtis Wilson, longtime friend of mine. He's fighting a case and trying to get his name back because he's been kind of smeared as the sexual predator, which, again, I've known you since we were kids. I know it's ridiculous. Got to take a break. It is 11:18. It's a glorious Thursday morning. We'll be right back.
Mayor,
Well, Pelker, right?
yeah.
So Pam Pelker went to Pattonville High School, and I worked with her in Omni Sports. I used to work in Omni Sports. I know Pam forever.
Yeah.
And when I heard the name, I'm like,
of St. Anne?
yes, the mayor of St. Anne. And she's friends with Jennifer Bird, who's a listener of my show. She'll probably start, if she's listening, she'll probably start chiming in here before too long.
Yeah, they knew before they took it to the media that he was not guilty of anything, and they didn't change any of the paperwork. They basically have buried the first police report.
That's such bullshit.
Yeah, they buried the first police report, and they produced the second one where they took the stalking out. On like the 7th or the 8th, they modified the original. They changed it. They just erased that first police report. They took all the mother statements out, the child statements out.
Really?
Yeah, we have it. It's on the podcast right now. We have it, and then they still sent it to Channel 2, Channel 4, and said he's a stalker. And they let them present the story days after they changed their police report. And then they took it to Facebook, to their community page, and put it on there.
No attorney yet?
We're working on it.
You got somebody?
We trying.
It ain't easy, is it?
It's not.
You go up against the police department or the school districts. Very difficult to get
I have
ready to
people in
fight with
Illinois that would take the case, but they don't practice in Missouri.
Yeah.
And
So you need
that's the problem.
what do you need? A criminal defense attorney?
You need a civil rights attorney.
Civil rights attorney.
And then when you go all the way back, like we had, because of the podcast, because I told him let's not focus on the number. We need the right type of person looking at it. He's getting motions sent to him by lawyers that don't even live here. Like, you can file this pro se. Like, your original case should be gone because you should have never been in adult court because they watching. They play softball. They're like, hey, we play. I'm a weekend warrior with the bat, but by day I'm a lawyer. And one person said, I can't believe his lawyer let him be charged as an adult. And so they like ineffective counsel motions and all kind of stuff have come in.
Oh.
All right, Curtis. You guys are laughing at me, I see. So we finish that story, then I'm going to get to D and just how you guys are hooked up and what you guys are up to.
Well, the thing is, so the world can know that I was falsely accused, deeply falsely accused, and I'm going to keep on fighting. Not just for myself, but for everybody that's got a situation like mine. So don't get me wrong, Rob. I mean, there are some people that deserve to be up under the jail. Never see the day of light. I get it. But the worst thing about it and the craziest thing about it is they got us all put together like a big pot of gumbo. And it shouldn't be like that. Everybody should be judged on an individual. But when you hear the word sex offender,
It's scary. It's a scary title.
Yeah, but if you pee in a park,
yeah,
you can
it's interesting to say that. I just want to bring this to people's attention. So I was living in Wheathaven Country Club, right? So I'm 30-something years old. My wife that I married had 2 kids. I had 2 kids, so we have 4 kids now. They're all in 10, 11, 12-year-old range at this particular point. Right around 10 to 12 years old. So we let them walk all over the neighborhood, safe as can be. Got the golf course right behind us, so we just let our kids go. And one day I come home, and as my now ex-wife, she goes, "You got to see this. You got to see this." And I go, "What?" She goes, "She's dragging me downstairs onto the computer." and there's a little dot for every person that was convicted of a sex crime.
Right.
And they're all around us. And there's like 25 of them in Winghaven alone, where my kids are running around, and I'm like, oh my God. Never even dawned on me that a lot of these charges are exactly what happened with you. You're in high school, somebody's 18, somebody's 16, something of this nature, whatever it is, or somebody who went to the bathroom on the side of the road because they're coming back from a ball game, maybe had a few too many drinks. They go to the bathroom on the side of the road. They get charged as sexual offenders, like indecent exposure, which is. Right? Is this what you're telling me? I could not believe it, and then I started to figure out what was going on. I'm like, okay, I'm not loaded with sex offenders around Winghaven Country. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's a terrible tag to have to live for the rest of your life. I can't even imagine what that must be like.
I made that more of my motivation call because the things I've accomplished as a ball player and in my life, they never held me down. You know, because I know I'm not that dude. I know I'm not that person to be.
Probably worse when you come back to St. Louis, right? Because in Florida, they're not really chasing you around.
Well, the thing is, we're still trying to fight it. I go to court November 4th here in Clayton, is to try to get off the registry. I got a lot of good people that's going to be there backing me. And
well, I went to your meeting not too long ago. You have a lot of people, prominent people around the area that are backing you and trying to clear your name.
Yeah,
How old
which is good
were
to
you
see.
when this originally happened?
I was 16 years old when I met her. She went to Winsville High School, the Winsville Indians, I believe, Okay. And she was 13, and we met at a bonfire. And we had the same friends, same associates. So you're talking about 39, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I never since then had an issue of offense or disrespecting a woman like that. I didn't think I was disrespecting a woman back then because I never knew the law at 16, 17 years old in high school. So what I do right now is I go to with permission, I go to different schools, high schools, and making sure they're aware. I said, man, you seniors out here, you gotta be careful dating these freshmen, sophomore, junior. And they're all say, man, why we gotta do it? We all go to school together.
We have mutual friends, Curtis, I could name. I was thinking about the other night. I was talking about with my dad because my dad, he was 19, my mom was 15 when they met.
Right.
And we started talking about it. I said, let me just think back to school. When I was a senior in high school, I know at least two of my friends, right off that I used to, really good friends, people you know, that were seniors that were dating freshmen. So they would have been 17 or 18, and the girls would have been roughly 15, maybe 14, 15. 14, 15 years old. That was completely commonplace. I don't think anybody in school thought anything of it. Nobody was talking about it. It was completely normal.
Everybody at the school was like they were blown away. They wasn't being educated about this. I said, man, even though I'm in your same shoes, I know I wasn't educated about this either back in the 80s. And it's eye-opening because it's not something that I wish on anybody, but the thing is people need to be aware. Because once you just live in your life as a teenager, man, you're not thinking about the...
Well, you're immature to begin with. You're a kid. That's the whole point.
So
you're
you
not
were
worried
16,
about that.
right?
Yeah, I was 16. Well, I turned my my birthday is May 17, 1969.
Yeah.
We got caught having sex by her dad the next month of June of 86, which made me just turn 17.
But still, 18 is an adult, right?
Yeah.
I thought, I'm thinking 17 is.
They said 17 is an adult. Back then, they just changed the law. Said 17 right now is a minor.
Here's the law in most states. In Missouri, consent can't happen if you're under 14. Missouri is one of the good states, surprisingly. In Illinois, it's 17. So what I've been saying in every podcast episode is, parents, be aware. If your child is 17 and under, they could be considered a sexual predator if they're caught. If one of the
17 or older.
17 or younger.
Younger, yeah.
At 17,
I
two
see what you're
17-year-olds can be caught having sex. And if one of the parents wants to push the issue, it's statutory.
Really?
Yes.
Do you know that, Dan?
No,
that's in how many states?
No, I had no clue.
In most states. It's in Illinois for sure. It's definitely in Missouri. I've sat down and spoke with, because of the podcast, we've spoken to a lot of attorneys, and they're like, hey, you need to know that in this state, talking about Illinois, 17 and under, there's no consent. So it's all rape. Wow. So if two teenagers go to prom and that night they decide to do whatever, one of the parents finds out, That's right.
See, and I would think this only happens when somebody presses the issue, right? Because I think most parents, if their kids are in high school, you would hope that everybody's being celibate, you know, and they're you know, doing everything the right way. But
Most of us lost our virginity at Hazelwood
We're
Central.
pretty much.
At 16 years old.
yeah, right around that time frame. Yeah, 15, 16 back in those days.
Yeah.
You know, not that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that was the reality of the day.
Yeah.
But we didn't see each other as. I know that I did. And I know my dad was very empathetic with your situation. He goes, Rob. He goes, you know, I loved your mom till the day she died, and he goes, under that scenario, because he heard you the first time you were on the show. He goes, under that scenario, I'm a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Man.
Your mom and I. And I said, I know. He goes,
I'm 3 years older than my first wife.
But, okay, but I'm gonna say something. So, and this is real. This is really real. I know we gotta probably go to.
No, you're fine. You're good.
So, and don't take this the wrong way. Anybody that's listening, Missouri is a slave state. I was born in a slave state. I'm just gonna put it out there. From 1800s, you know, slaves involved. So right now, majority of people still got their state of mind or how they think, because nobody wants to see a black kid with a white girl or.
Back in the '80s, it was very rare.
But back then, I know. But when you were young, you didn't care about the color. You cared about who you liked and who you didn't like.
Absolutely.
But parents from there, they cared because they're coming from the 40s and the 50s themselves, and grandparents. So even though Missouri is a slave state.
You mean a slave state back during Civil War times? Was it split down the middle? Was it split down the middle?
No.
Yes. Didn't half fight for the South and half fight for the North?
I wasn't around back then, so I don't know.
but me educating myself about the city I was born in, the state I was born in, it's like that, man. And I hate it. And some people to this day still got that state of mind to feel that way. Just see the person for who they are. Excuse my language, man.
No, you can't say that.
Can't say that.
You can't say
No.
excuse my language.
Okay.
You can't say that.
Well,
Not on the
just-
radio.
See, this is what happens when it's a podcast.
Yeah.
Dump button.
But I understand that people go through things in life, man, but I'm going to keep fighting. Even when I'm gone and dead, I want people to still be fighting for me because I know that I'm not titled that. I'm not that person. I'm not that dude. I'm a good person.
Did you feel a lot of racism when we were growing up?
As a matter of fact, I didn't.
I didn't either.
I didn't.
I was saying my dad and I
Because
were talking
sports.
about it, even in the 60s. My dad said in the 60s, it seemed like, you know, he heard me talk about when we spent the night together. We went actually found the date because I remember it was the final of the hockey
thing. Yeah.
Yep, and I remember, so I went back and found the exact date, which I think was right around your birthday. That might have been why we were spending the night together.
With your mom's friend, what she said?
Yeah, she was gonna let him. And my dad said it was the same with him back in the 60s. He said, you know, back in the 60s, he lived over in Wellston.
Yeah.
And he said, in that era, the black folks would go to a different part of the town at nighttime.
Right.
Because he didn't see any black people coming around their area after dark. And he said, so when they wanted to spend the night together with him and his buddy, he had to go to their part of town to spend the night. He had to spend the night at their house because it was not cool for black folks to be on the white side of town after dark. So this is the 60s. Then we progress to the 80s. Now I think it's a little bit more liberal and people see things a little bit different. But because of the media and the constant fights, it's prevalent amongst a certain group of people that they see color in everything that you do. They see religion in everything that you do. There's just a constant division of everybody. It's what you were saying. This is the country when you first walked into. You said, "Man, this country is crazy sometimes." I feel the
But he
same
was
way.
right about sports. I mean, there wasn't racism in sports back then. When I would play with black kids, and I never even thought about it.
Never thought anything of it.
But you know what? Racism is taught also. So the parents and grandparents will teach racism. My parents never.
Mine either.
Never.
The exact
taught
opposite
me
with my parents.
to be racist.
All right, got to take a break. 11:32, closing in on 11:33. Dan, I, Curtis, and D. We'll be right back. Oh yeah.
He's such a dork.
All right, everybody, welcome back. All right, D, I got to bring you into the conversation.
Who?
All right.
Oh, me?
D.
Oh, D. Oh, you said D. I thought it was me.
I got to bring D in. Somebody was mad at you on the app for saying it's a slave state. I don't think you're saying it's a slave state now. You're saying it was a slave state, and some of the mentality in certain parts of the state continue on all the way back from those days. Got to clarify everything.
Gotta clarify.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a long time
I don't
ago.
want people to be mad at you. D, how did you get involved in the situation? What are you learning? What is going on? Could you, very quickly, I think people would be interested in your Jackie Joyner Kersey story. So just real quick, so you got a loan to her to get your music career started.
Really quick. I met Jackie when I was 21, and I know she's a St. Louis area icon.
Yes.
We were in Chicago at a network. I had a mentor who said, "Hey, I want to take you someplace to meet some people." And I went and I had a 10-minute conversation with Jackie, and she just took to me. And she said, "Hey, you know, if you had 10 grand, what would you do?" She said, "If you had the money to do what you wanted to do, what would you do?" I said, "I'd throw a concert and, you know, multiply the money." And she said, "Okay, meet me at this address tomorrow." So I met her at a beauty shop she co-owned with Greg Foster, who was also a hurdler. They all went to school at UCLA, and she was in business with his sister. And I went over there and I put a suit on, and she gave me $10,000, wrote me a check, said, "Hey, I'm sowing a seed into your future." I threw a Redman concert at the Riviera, which was owned by Cliff Levingston, who played with the Bulls.
I remember.
They were in their heyday.
Yep.
And I was producing some music for Ron Harper, and
Also
he
played for the
hooked me
Bulls.
up- Also played for the Bulls, and he hooked me up, and I threw a concert. I made a lot of money, and I went back to give Jackie her in, and she was off getting ready for the next Olympics, her last Olympics, I think it was. And 25 years later, we caught back up with each other. She still won't take the money. She's the best person I've ever met.
Christian lady.
Very Christian.
Wonderful woman from what I'm told.
Yes, absolutely wonderful person, and we can work, and maybe you can interview her one day. I can talk to her.
I would love to do that, actually. I'm a big fan.
I'll call it a day.
All right, you got it. So how did you guys get mixed up and caught up together, and then how did the story advance? What did you learn, by the way? It sounds like you learned some stuff through this podcast and through some digging about the case.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we have his producer for his documentary kept calling me one day like, "Hey, I need you to come over." He knew my background in entertainment, and he knew I had some reach out in the world of media and entertainment, and he kept calling me. And it actually, my wife and I were living in Soulard, and her car was totaled, and I had given my car to my son to take back to Arizona to go to school. And so I was trying to get a car that day, a rental car, because we were waiting on the insurance. And I was like, well, I'm gonna try to make it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And then you know how you feel like not going somewhere. So I was like, I said, if I can't get a car, I'm not gonna make it. And I really was trying to find a reason not to go, because I just wanted to go home.
Been there.
But I was obedient, and I went, and because I told him I would come if I got a car. So at the last minute, my brother-in-law, who played softball with him, which is how I first was introduced to the legend of Wolf as a softball
Four-time
player.
Hall of Famer.
Four-time Hall of Famer. I had seen him play, and against my brother, and I just remembered the name. I was like, "Who's this big dude knocking the ball all the way to the parking lot?" Right? And so when we got there, I didn't know why we were coming, but my brother-in-law was like, "Hey, I'm going out of town to a softball tournament. Why don't you drop me off? You can keep my car." And so I was like, "Well, I got a car, so I guess I'm going," because Budget, Enterprise, and everybody else was out of cars that day. So I show up, we see the documentary, and I listen to his story. And something about what he said hit me, because I have four sons. They all were elite level athletes. They played college sports, and I used to have to talk to them every day about, hey, these little girls are running up behind you guys right now because you scoring touchdowns and this, that, and the other thing, but you're one accusation away from your whole life being ruined. And I would have these conversations with them all the time, right? And they're all grown men now, and they escaped it, but I just kept thinking about, this could have been my kid, right? So I wanted to talk to him some more. So I talked to him about his case after we got done, and I still was like, okay, I gotta go talk to every woman I know, because something in me was like, I want to get involved with this, right? And I'm a praying guy, I'm a Christian guy, and I really believe God directs my path. And the day before, I had given up something that was a large revenue generating project. I just let it go because I was like, I don't want to be around that. in those people.
Yeah, I get it.
I let it go.
We do that here at this station, by the way.
I let it go,
Yeah.
right? And so I said, and I told my wife, next thing is gonna come, right? And so the next day, literally, boom, I meet Wolf. Not the legend, but the person. And so the next day, I spent the next 2 days talking to my mother, my wife, my wife, who was my biggest barometer for everything. She was like,
Me too.
He's such a humble guy. And woo. So she was just.
That's a good vibes.
She got the great vibes, right? So I talked to my niece, I talked to my daughter, because I got a daughter. And I just talked to everyone. I said, let me give you a scenario. This, that, and the other thing. And one of my kids said, well, you guys didn't date in high school, because I went to high school with my first wife. She was like,
and you were 3 years older, so this could have been you.
I was a senior, she would have been a freshman. We didn't date till later, but my freshman year, I got asked to go to prom by a senior. Right? And so that's how I got introduced. And at the end of the day, I prayed over it, thought about it, and I said, I got to get involved, right? So I came in, I said, hey, we need to do a podcast. Let's get some information out. Let's dig into this. Let's see what's going on. He introduces me to Linda, right? We do an episode on Linda. She's got so much information. She's a forensic investigator, retired forensic investigator for the Army.
Perfect.
Right? So she knows how to drill down into stuff. And so I was sending her what I was finding, and she had what she was finding, and she was just picking it apart and putting back like these monologues of text messages and emails together with stuff. And so at the end of it, we found out that they manipulated the police report, right? So the first police report is completely different from the second, right? The factual details that they listed to get the indictment, to even get him in St. Louis County, was based off of what the mother and the daughter said. And disclaimer, anytime your child walks in the door and says somebody is following them, you take that serious.
Right, of course. Yeah,
so the mom and the daughter did exactly what they were supposed to do. We all feel that.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not mad at them.
No, not at all.
Gotcha.
Right? Because I got a daughter. My daughter came in and said it was a white truck. And for 2 weeks, I sat at the bus stop down the street.
That's what dads do.
Waiting to catch the white truck.
Yeah.
Right? And the white truck did show back up. Right? And I had a conversation with the white truck, and he never showed up again. That's a whole nother story. But when you remove the mother's statement and the daughter's statement, they didn't remove it from what they let go to the media, right? They knew there was a report on the 4th, then there was a modification on the 7th and the 8th, and they still let the media do what they did on the 9th.
So your accusation in general is that primarily the St. Anne Police Department you're talking about.
Yes.
The St. Anne Police Department had information that would have cleared his name.
Correct.
But they decided to go ahead and let it play out in the media,
Correct.
make these accusations,
Correct.
put his face up on television so all of his friends and family and everybody in his life could see it.
Correct.
And really kind of destroy his reputation and sell him as a sexual predator.
Correct.
When in reality, behind the scenes, they knew it wasn't the case, but they allowed the media circus to continue. Because you were on, I think every station covered the story when it was happening. Yeah.
Correct. And I remember seeing the story and I didn't know him at the time, but I remember seeing the story. And my first thought was, man, they got that dude. But that was wrong.
Well, that's what I talk about. If you pay attention to my show, I talk about it all the time. People take what they hear from the news or what they consider to be a trusted source, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's the end of it. They don't really think through what might be happening behind the scenes or what the propaganda in politics, what the propaganda might be. You're talking about the same thing that I talk about on my show on a bigger level, and I was arguing about it with people on the app today. They hear something from either the President of the United States or the Attorney General or some form of senator or even a police report, and they drill it down that this person is guilty, and all of a sudden your whole life is destroyed because somebody that the public perceives to be a trustworthy source has mischaracterized you, and you can't get out of that box. That follows you around forever. People start to look at you with the side eye. They start to look at you like you're funny. And I just think it's a travesty. I think the whole thing is just absolutely crazy. I can't get over the fact that you can't clear your record at this age. At 56 years old with with nothing going on for 37, 40, 39 years. Yeah. And yet you still have to register like you're some peeping Tom, Jack the Ripper type person. And It just doesn't feel like America to me. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know why you can't get any help. I don't know why more attorneys aren't jumping into the fray and saying, listen, this is a miscarriage of justice, and we want to solve this situation for you. But again, I have two friends that come on the show, and it's more about politics. One was with elections, and one was with getting fired from her job because she couldn't get the COVID shot. No attorneys would take up the cases.
Wow.
They couldn't get attorneys. They both had to fight in court by themselves.
Yeah.
So you have a situation, I think most people that hear it, not everybody, I don't know if it's 80-20, 70-30, but I think the vast majority of people would look at that and go, yeah, I don't know that a 17-year-old should be carrying around a sexual predator charge from having consensual sex with another high school age girl for the rest of their life. And yet, here you are, and it doesn't seem like anybody who wants to jump in and help you, and I don't really understand why. I don't. By the way, I'm not sort of sure that it's racism. I don't know that they want to fight the police departments, because that can be a kind of a tricky situation. It may be. I'm not saying that it's not, but it may be. I don't know how you could be racist and working over in the St. Anne Police Department. That would be a bad place to be a racist. I would think.
It's the point is, and I hear you loud and clear, Rob, and the point is, things was falsified, things was tampered with, and they never thought I was gonna fight back. They didn't think that. They just.
I can tell by looking at you, you think it's race, don't you? You think it's race related?
I think it's.
Well, you know the people involved, so you have to have some understanding of what's going on here.
Yeah, I think it's more the fact that injustice was definitely done, because it's done every day. But when a person hits you personally, you take it a little bit more personal that, hey, something's beyond what is going on, because all this stuff shouldn't have built up to do this. You know, it wasn't called for it. I think this shouldn't even make the news.
I don't understand why you don't have a lawsuit on your hands. I would just think that if I spent 11 days in jail for something that was kind of ridiculous and not done properly, I'd have an attorney, and there'd be an attorney solving my problem. I can guarantee you that. I would have an attorney, and that would be within like 5 hours. I'd have an attorney, and we'd be going to war with whoever put me in jail for 11 days.
Yeah, I believe
right?
it. I believe it, yeah.
And you still can't get one.
Still working. I still got a deadline.
I just think that is so crazy.
Still got a deadline.
Yeah. If you were in jail for 11 days for something that was trumped up on you, Dan, you think you'd be able to get an attorney to fight your battle for you?
I'd be screaming.
I'd be screaming.
Yeah.
I'd have an attorney, that I can tell you.
I think there's something to what you're saying. Like, you know, people have, you know, it's an interesting dynamic in America.
I think there might be some personal things going on there. All right, we're going to run out of time in this segment. It is 11, closing on 11:49. Got to take a break. We'll be right back. Okay. Podcast. You guys got a podcast. You want to share this information with people who may be interested. I know a lot of our friends, so you know we have a ton of friends that listen to the show that we grew up with. They'll be very interested to find out what's going on with your story. How do they find it? Where's the podcast? What's going on? D, give it to me.
So right now we started the Wolf of Ball Street podcast.
Wolf of Ball Street.
It's called the Wolf of Ball Street.
Very nice.
And it is. We created the podcast to
make sure you put podcast on the internet.
Wolf of Wall Street podcast.
Ball Street. Wolf of Ball Street.
Wolf of Ball Street podcast.
Yes,
I got you. I got it. Dan, you got it.
Yeah, and that's on you. That's on YouTube, right? And we really just wanted to create something where we could talk about what has been, what's happening now, and what we're trying to do in the future. I'm all in.
It's nice of you to put your time and energy into this. I get
it. It becomes consuming, right? I put a lot of hours into what we're doing.
Well, when you seek justice, you know, I don't know how you are, but I know Dan kind of feels the same way I do. I think most of the listening audience that listens to the show, we seek the truth and we seek justice, and we fight over what reality is and what truth is all the time. But I think when you seek justice, and that's something that is burns inside your soul, you don't quit very easy. It's just something that drives you. It's like you wake up in the morning and you are somebody who wants justice for people. You empathize with people in positions like Wolf is here, because that's a really difficult position to be in. And I'm glad that he gets to get out and get his voice heard. Because being labeled as such, I'm a very prideful person. You know, maybe that's one of the 7 deadlies, Dan, but I am very prideful. So if that tag was to follow me, I would have a real tough time with that. I got to be honest with you. It would drive me crazy.
It's rough. And I asked him, you know, and this answer is kind of what solidified me getting involved. I said, why you want to do a documentary, right? And he said, I need for people to know what could happen. What happened to me and what could happen. And that hit me. because, like I said, I have sons, right? So let's erase color, right? Let's just get rid of color, right? Somebody's 16, 17-year-old child who's a baseball prodigy or football prodigy or hockey or whatever, right? Is having sex with his girlfriend right now.
In high school.
Yep. Who's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, right? And should one of her parents get upset about it, that kid is wolf. That kid's a sex offender. He's in court. There's no way around it. The law is the law, right? Now, prosecutors can say, we're going to reject this case for whatever reason, but that didn't happen in this case, right? So for me, I've got grandchildren. I got a 5-year-old grandson. I got a 2-year-old grandson. They're going to be teenagers one day, right? We just got to it's about getting the information out, right? So
exposing it. You got to expose it first.
Expose it. We got to talk about it. We got to know. I'm willing to bet the majority of your audience right now had sex before they were 17 years old.
I think that's probably true. Dan, maybe not.
Can't put a number
Dan was like
on
in his 30s. I
Still
think.
a virgin.
Right. I think Dan was in his 30s.
Well, you are a.
But I would say that's probably true. I was just thinking back to. I was a late developer, but I think most of the people in high school that I knew was around 16 when that started to happen.
Yes.
But a lot of freshmen, especially freshman girls, because all the they come into the high school and all the horny boys want to hang out with the freshman girls. It's not all that normal, Dan.
You was sitting at the door waiting on the new freshman to come in.
I mean, as terrible as it sounds when you're that age, it's kind of how it goes. You got 15 seconds.
Before we go, one thing I do love is my teammates. They let their children see my documentary and my podcast, so they're learning from that to make sure it doesn't happen to them.
Right on. All right, it is called the Wolf of Wall Street Podcast. Why do I keep saying that? Wolf of Ball Street Podcast. If you want to check it out, Curtis, my man D. Appreciate you coming in. We'll follow the story. That's all we got for you today on this glorious Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on the Robb Carter Show. Dan, I love you.
Love you more.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Okay, we are episode 5 of the Wolf of Wall Street podcast. And first of all, Rob, thank you for
Glad to have you guys in
us here today. And I just wanted to kind of tie this up really quick. Rob, talk to me about Wolf. What is your opinion of his situation?
Well, first of all, I think it's crazy. That's why I have him in, and this is the third time I think he's been on to do the show. My show fights for justice for everybody. That's kind of where we're at. We think there's a lot of malfeasance in government. I have an organization to attack it. So when he was telling me the story, we go back. We were kids together. We grew up together. I know him. I know he's not a sexual predator. I mean, I kind of know Curtis from being a young man. So when I heard this story, I thought I got to get this out to people. I don't know how many young people around town, we were talking about on the show, that know you can get yourself in a lot of trouble with playing around when you're sexually when you're under the age of 17. And more than anything, I just think that that label to follow him to age 56 when everybody knows he's not a sexual predator, just to me seems ridiculous and it needs to be addressed. Our government is here to solve these type of issues, and they should be jumping in the fray right now.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. It grabs you, right?
It feels like injustice.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that. Appreciate you having us here today. I just wanted to. You got anything?
No, this is my guy from we were.
Yeah, we played ball together growing
12,
up
13.
too.
Yeah. He was a hell of a baseball player. Yeah. He was the smallest guy on the team. He had a Pee Wee Herman shaped body, but the dude batted maybe
so true.
Yeah, he batted like 700-800 in baseball, and he was a hell of a basketball player too. But we became good friends, and
that's what I did to my finger.
And he one thing I can't say about my boy Rob, he's always been a class act.
Appreciate that.
As kids, especially now as an adult, because he has a lot of great things going on, and for him to believe in me, just like my rest of my close people in my triangle, I can't do nothing but fight harder now. And I appreciate you.
Good to see you, my man.
You too, brother.
That. We're going to have a conversation about maybe doing a podcast, Rob.
I'll do it. Absolutely. I already told him I would. So when you need me, I'll be there.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
You got it. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
St. Anne Police Report from Sunday, February 4th, 2024. This is the initial contact with the mother and daughter. At this time, Mr. Wilson had not been arrested. The St. Anne police had not seen Mr. Wilson yet. Note that on this report, they state that it's been cleared by arrest. That's a falsification. He was not arrested at this point. If you'd like, you can pause and read the mother's statement. For time purposes, I'm going to state at no time did the mother describe Mr. Wilson at all. She was able to get a description of the car and the license plate. The St. Anne police ran the details through the flock safety camera system. They stated they were able to get a photograph of the vehicle, and they also placed his license plate through the Muley's inquiry, and they were able to obtain who owned the vehicle, Mr. Wilson. It was added on this report that the Overland Police Department, I'm not sure why, but they were able to provide a report to the St. Anne Police Department stating it should be noted Wilson was convicted for the charge of sexual assault first degree, where the victim was a 15-year-old. I do not see here that this was a 1986 event that happened when Mr. Wilson was an 11th grader, 17 years old in high school. It also does not state that there was no other offenses in nearly 4 decades. I believe those would be key, significant details that should have been added to this report, but they were left out. The mother states that she drives her daughter to school every day and that the daughter walks home after school with a group of friends. Due to the fact that the daughter stated that this vehicle had followed her home from school 5 days that week, I believe that the St. Anne investigators should have gotten the names of all these friends and questioned them also. At this point, we are unable to obtain any other reports other than this February 4th report from Sunday, the initial contact with the mother and daughter, and the February 8th report from Thursday, where they already had Mr. Wilson in jail, and Detective Rumsa pulled him out as an inmate to question him about being on school property. I'm going to remind people listening to this, at no point was Mr. Wilson ever charged with stalking, following, or taking pictures of this little girl. The statements from the mother and daughter were never substantiated. He was never charged with that. But that's what the St. Anne police released to the public, Facebook, news, media, press. All right. Also, take note, the above-mentioned Hyundai was entered for felony stalking. This is how stalking was placed on Mr. Wilson's plates in the February 4th Sunday report and also the February 8th Thursday report. You do not see anywhere where Mr. Wilson was arrested. We are being told at this point that the St. Anne Police Department did not document a report of where Mr. Wilson was arrested. It's in the computer that he was booked on Wednesday, February 7th at 5:22 p.m. But according to the St. Anne Police records keeper, Miss Vantana, there's no report of his arrest at all. It's highly, highly suspicious. This February 4th, Sunday initial contact with the mother and daughter, the reporting officer was Officer C.A.Y.A.B.Y.A.B., and the approving officer was Sergeant Weiss. This is the end of page 3 for the Sunday, February 4th. St. Anne Police report from February 8th, which is Thursday, 2024. Type of incident, sex offender present loitering within 500 feet of school. It has been changed from stalking. No stalkings on there. 2400161. This is Detective Rumsa going to the St. Anne jail to pull Mr. Wilson out to talk to him. Occurred on the property of St. Anne Police Department. Dispatch information, all the same. Received, arrived, departed dates are all the same. Doesn't really apply here. The officers are Detective Rumsa for reporting and Detective Rumsa as the investigator. This is highly suspicious. It's the same as on February 4th report. It's stating that Detective Rumsa arrived on the scene August 2nd, 2024 at 14:13 hours. which is 2:13. And on the February 4th report, it says he arrived at 14:14 on the same date. This does not match this. And these are the same on both reports. There needs to be explanation for that. All right, the offenses on the February 4th, there was 3 separate offenses. Here they've listed 1 on this page, being on school property within 500 feet. Note, they changed this to 566.150. 566.150 does not have the language in it saying that the punitive charges only apply if there are children under the age of 18 present. So this notably was changed to 150 so that that language was taken out so that they could charge him. Even though they knew that there was no children on property, his pictures, his videos, and the school surveillance cameras all showed no children were on property. Reporting party is the St. Anne Police Department. Officer is Detective Rumsa, and approving is Detective Monica Rulas. That is page 1. Page 1 of the February 8th report. From February 8th, we're going to go to page 2. This is page 1. Let's go to page 2. Page 2, February 8th, loitering on school property, report number 161. Contact is blank. Reporting party, I believe this is Detective Rumsa's information. And the offense narrative, this is from Detective Rumsa. So on Thursday, February 8th at approximately 3 p.m., I contacted St. Anne inmate. This signifies that they did hold Mr. Wilson overnight from February 7th. Mr. Curtis Wilson, for a follow-up interview in reference to loitering on school properties. His Detective Rumsa's focus is to get Mr. Wilson for loitering on school properties. This is significant because Detective Rumsa spent Wednesday talking to Mr. Wilson, and Mr. Wilson explained exactly what he was doing, taking pictures for his upcoming documentary. He went to school as a child at Booter Elementary, and he was at his childhood home taking pictures of his home. That's significant because that notified the detective and St. Anne Police that Mr. Wilson's childhood home was directly, literally right next door to the mother and the child. So they could not prove, they had nothing to substantiate that Mr. Wilson was a predator, preying on small schoolgirl children, following them and stalking them and taking pictures of them. It was disproved the day before. So now they're trying to focus on what they can get him on. So he admitted he was on school property. He's a registered sex offender. They're trying to get him on school property. Wilson was charged and held. Reference St. Anne, this report 142 for the following charges. Please note that there's no stalking, being on school property, and failing to register. And failing to register dropped later on. He wasn't charged with that at all. Detective Rumsa, page 2, and Detective Rulas. St. Anne Police Report from Thursday, February 8th, 2024. I'm going to record for page number 3. This is page 1, 2, and 3. Report date, February 8th, 2024. This is Detective Rumsa. They've had Mr. Wilson overnight in the St. Anne jail. Detective Rumsa is going to get him to meet him and speak with him. He is specifically focused on him being on school property. So if you want to, you can stop and pause to read Detective Rumsa's paragraph. I want you to focus on the highlighted yellow parts. It looks like Detective Rumsa is really focused on making sure he documents correct procedure, namely Miranda rights, giving him his Miranda rights, and filling out a form. Mind you, they already had him the day before. Detective Rumsa spent a lot of Wednesday with Mr. Wilson. and also consent to search. And he had Mr. Wilson sign a consent to search form. So again, if you want to, you can pause and read the statement. It really is just about Detective Rumsa getting additional charge for Mr. Wilson being on school property. From what it looks like, they are not able to get him on stalking, so they know that he's on school property, which goes against the registry, and they're trying to stack charges at this time. So they did find out. He searched his phone and said that he was on Booter Elementary on Saturday also, which is the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I'm sure Mr. Wilson already told him this. He was there getting those pictures for his documentary. Okay. Due to observing the separate incident, Wilson is charged with an additional charge of school loitering and restriction. It is very concerning to me that Detective Rumsa is including something from the following day, Friday, February 9th, and from a different detective. It looks like he's trying to document that there was a warrant applied for on Friday in his February 8th, Thursday report. Not sure why. It is suspicious. I'm not sure why he's including this, but let's read it. On Friday, February 9th, Detective Steinkraus responded to St. Louis prosecutor's office to apply for an in-custody warrant. This means that they have not had a warrant for Mr. Wilson this whole time, and it wasn't submitted until Friday. The facts and circumstances of this case were related to Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Ginger, who saw fit to issue the following charges for the February 8th report and also the February 4th report. This is significant because this means that the St. Anne Police, the detectives, Steinkraus, Rulas, Rumsa, Chief Jimenez, they all knew that Mr. Wilson was not guilty of stalking and following the little girl, taking pictures of her. Still and yet, both on February 8th, 2024 and February 9th, 2024, the St. Anne Police went to the St. Anne Neighborhood Watch Facebook page, and they gave them the probable cause statement, the allegations that the mother and the child made. And they also, on Friday, February 9th, they went to Channel 2, Channel 4, and Channel 5 television stations with the same probable cause statement, even though you see here that they only charged him for being on school property and failing to register as a sex offender. So they know he didn't do the stalking, he wasn't charged for it, but they still released the probable cause statement that raised suspicion.
I got a lot of work up on my plate, and I'ma get it all till the clock stops ticking. Forget the pain of yesterday, and she was lying to how you are. Wake up and go get it, live life with no limits. Every time they put me in a box, I bust it down. Too much time up on the clock, so I'ma bust it down. Ain't no waiting for the moment, cause the time is now. I want my brothers like Malcolm and them, and we split the racks in the middle. Big bro, you been ballin', so we was just tellers, you know it ain't no ceilings. These girls in the library, they looking for love, you know it ain't no feelings. Searching for warmth in my heart, but lately it feel like the middle of winter. Every time I get back up, they wanna let me down. My granny asked me why I put that smoke up in the clouds. They always ran woke, but they be sleeping, no one's round. Just maintain focus, keep my knees upon the ground. I put my soul and my heart in this. The clouds, they left us in darkness, yeah. But I knew what it was when I started it, yeah. So now there ain't no turning back. You know I ain't got time to lack. I gotta get to the racks, and I cannot deny.